up, everyone? Thank you so much for tuning in today. My name is Candace Smith, and this is Pasco Connect. So I wanted to come on and do a part 2 of the latest city council meeting, which took place on September 1st, 2020. A lot of the members of the community got up to speak about, why they're protesting. Other members of the community got up to speak about the effects of the protests that are happening, around their property, in their neighborhoods. And so, yeah, it was real. And so what ended up happening was, normally at a city council meeting, the community has an opportunity during Vox Pox to get up and have 3 minutes per person to discuss whatever they want to say. And so that's when they do that time. And so there were 6 people that got up. That's the first video that came out. So normally after Vox Pox, the council meeting goes on as normal, talking about budgets and going over their agenda. And then at the end of that, they respond back to Vox Pox. And so most of the time, people like, I'm not sticking around for this boring mess, this crap. We don't want to hear about the numbers. We come here to talk about our issues. We want you to discuss what we're talking about. But because it takes so long, a lot of people get up and leave. And then they end up responding, and they respond back to people that have left. And so I guess they said, hey, we got time today. It's nothing but space and opportunity, and we the ones running this thing, so we can change it up as we want to. They said, forget the agenda. We responded immediately. And so Deputy Mayor Jeff Sparkey was the first one to say, hey, before we go on with the agenda, can we address some things? Because, a lot of people have been commenting about how he's responded to everything that's happening, or the lack thereof of the response from the entire city council and just the city leaders in general. And so by people coming to these meetings, the different news articles that's coming out, so many people discussing Port Richey. Port Richey is on the map now for this. And that does not look good in the city. And so now they're wanting to respond. And so here I would like for you to take a listen to what Jeff Sparkey had to say. This is Deputy Mayor Jeff Sparkey. He was the first one to respond immediately after the last person that got up. So if you haven't listened to the community responses, you need to stop this video. Go back and check out part 1. It's the city council meeting, community members speak out, something like that. Go check it out. Then come back to this, because you got to be caught up with what's going on. So I'll be right back. Take a listen to what Deputy Mayor Jeff Sparkey had to say at September 1st city council
last time we
meeting,
had some people come to us and speak to us during Vox Pop, and I'm still hearing about me smirking. I'm curious as to, number one, the people that are still accusing me of smirking, if you happen to watch the communications at the end of that meeting and watch a statement that I made. If not, I advise you to go back to the city council video website and watch it. Ryan, can we bring up these photos, please? Number one, let me say that the behavior that I'm seeing in our city, and ma'am, I know where you're coming from. If you saw my daughter, she doesn't look like me. She gets it as well sometimes, and it's horrible that kids are like that. It is. My heart goes out to you. My wife's from Mexican descent. My son he's as pale as white as I am, and my daughter looks like a very dark-skinned, dark-haired young lady, This is in front of Sims Park, and I'm sorry this young lady's here. I hope she can't see that. This is in Sims Park, in front of our playground, and if you can't read it, it says, these are signs being held in our park in front of you said you have children, Mr. Washington, you're a teacher. Mr. Washington, I also saw you shake your head no when the baseball bat thing was brought up. I have a picture of that, I believe. Can you scroll? You don't have that one? Okay. I didn't give it to Brian. They're on the Facebook Live videos. They're bragging about how the baseball bat signs held up and the sign part didn't fall off the bats. And I have a screenshot of a picture I can show you after the meeting if you want. Can we play the audio? No, once again, this is just 1 second. I've seen very, very awful and just appalling behavior from both sides. I'm not trying to single anybody out, but when representatives from any group comes here and says that they're protesting peacefully, I guess the definition of peaceful is different from person to person. But they over and over again I hear we're here to, speak against racism. We're not here to harm your city, because you know as well as I do, if 5% of the protesters on both sides actually live in our city residents, I would be very, very surprised. We didn't choose this, right? They had a Black Lives Matter a rally in the park at Zephyr Hills. We've been compared to Zephyr Hills, our city. I know Zephyr Hills council members, right? We had one in our park as well. The mayor attended it, right? On top of that, though, I asked Councilman Lance Smith from Zephyr Hills, I said, other than the peaceful rally and the protests that y'all had in the park, has anyone walked through your city protesting on amplifiers? No, never had it. Well, that's kind of how it started here. And then we had the protests in the park. But you say you're here, no one's here to disrupt our city. This is an audio from a live Facebook feed from a Black Lives Matter march during the weekend. At the end of it, as 3 people are standing in City Hall. If you can't hear it all, I'll tell you what they said. Go ahead and play it.
I feel like people stop coming out on Friday nights because it's really funny. It's working.
Yeah. Disrupt the businesses, disrupt everything. Like, people have proven to us that the only thing they care about as a collective is money, and so we're going to attack the money in response.
No, thank you.
If you think human life.
The first rep said, I feel like people stop coming out on Friday nights because of us. The second rep said, good, it's working. And then you heard what the gentleman said, let's go after the money. So you can't come here, and I'm not saying everyone in the Black Lives Matter marching feels that same way. But please don't, we have to look at both sides of the story, because I understand where y'all coming from. I get emails on a regular basis from people from the far left and people from the far right. Not everything in those emails are truthful. I've had my words misrepresented in the Tampa Bay Times, creative loafing, horrible, horrible comments. I urge you to watch that communications, Mr. Washington, because I didn't persecute or give Black Lives Matter a hard time because I said they went into a peaceful district where people were trying to enjoy an evening. I was painting a picture. I said it very, very truthfully and from my heart. I wasn't like, what were they doing in there, right? But when I hear the video and the audio and said, there's no one on Main Street, let's go in the restaurant bar district, do they have a right to go there? Absolutely. Do they have a right to peacefully protest? Absolutely. But my words get mixed. So when I get these emails, it's funny, like you said, just sit down at the table with us. I don't want my words twisted, so I don't email people back. So what I do is I say, thank you very much. I'm responding to both sides. Thank you very much for your input and your comments. Here's my cell phone number. Please call me if you'd like to discuss this further. I haven't gotten one phone call from anybody that sent those emails, right? Our police officers didn't sign up for this. They didn't want this. They don't want this in our city. They don't want to be called effing pigs, effing racist. They're not. I've been here 7 years. I've never had one complaint to me about any racism in our particular police department. Are there racists that live in Pasco County? Absolutely. Are there racists that live in Port Richey? Absolutely. Do I condone it? Absolutely not. It's horrible. It's a horrible thing. It really is. But if we're going to tell a story, let's tell the right story. I saw videos of people from the Back to Blue, and there's so many different organizations, and from the far right to far left, walking alongside y'all Friday night, saying horrible things to your protesters, just trying to get a rise out of you. I don't know the gentleman's name. Y'all knew him, because when he would say your all name, you horrible, horrible behavior by him as well. I've had people send me information, emails on Marlowe Jones saying this guy beats women. He's got an arrest record. How are you even letting him, do this in your city? I went to the Pasco County Sheriff's Office website and put in Marlowe Jones. This was his first offense. I had Chief Bogart run a background check for me, which I'm sure they probably already did after he was arrested. Has this guy beaten any women? Has he been arrested anywhere outside Pasco County? I don't know. It's his first offense. Do I wish it happened? No. Do I think it should define him by the rest of his life? No. Do I take offense when he calls our police chief a bastard screaming across the street and calls him a racist pig and yells at the police, to our officers, to their face? as they're just trying to do their job. Do you think we want 20 officers out there for peaceful protest? Absolutely not. But when you operate under the same umbrella as other people throughout the country and you're chanting the same slogans alongside people, not alongside, but from the same organization, the same umbrella, that are doing horrible, horrible things, then of course we're going to be cautious. I mean, that's just common sense. The far right folks that are coming down, I don't know much about them. I don't know about the Proud Boys. Someone indicated that the FBI said they're a hate group. I know the Southern Poverty Organization has deemed them a hate group. I don't know about the FBI, right? But it's going to keep getting worse and keep escalating. Our city didn't ask for this. We didn't sign up for this. It didn't happen because we have racist cops. I can tell you that much, right? Because we have racist staff, because we have a racist city council. That's not why this is happening, and we have not asked for this. And my hearts go out to you. Man, when you were talking, and you have children like I do, and I see you tearing up, I'm with you. I get it, you know what I mean? Call my cell phone number up. Okay, but it's not the system here in Port Richey, right? Okay, I'm sure at times wrong things have happened, but to call our entire police department racist, I don't agree with that. I don't think that's a fair picture. I don't. And I'll give it to you right now. You got something to write down? It's on our website. I'll give it to you, the public. My doors are open. 727-389-5784. But I will tell you this much. If I had heard in my tenure here, over 7 years, one report about any of our officers acting in a racist manner, she'd be getting a phone call. We'd have a meeting with I'm not staff, I'm a council member, but Chief Bogart, Ms. Mans, and I would have a meeting, and it would be addressed on the spot. It hasn't happened since I've been here. Does that mean it's never happened? No, but if y'all experience horrible things like this, reach out to our police department, reach out to me. I'll set up a meeting, okay?
We can't have that conversation.
This is not a two-way conversation.
Which is not your fault. How Vox Pox works, if you want to come up and speak to us, you get 3 minutes, but we can't go back and forth. But anyway, I just read my cell phone number. If you'd like to reach out with me, I'll be happy to meet with you as well. We all want this to stop. We don't want this in our city. And I understand what you're saying, systemic racism and horrible things, the way, governments are set up in certain local governments and whatnot. And is the system perfect? Not at all, but I don't want to see anyone get hurt here in our city. That's the bottom line. You don't, the other folks don't. So I just had to get that off my chest. Mr. Washington, I'm sure you're a great teacher. You seem like a great person and you're sincere when you come up, and I appreciate y'all letting me talk, but this is wearing on me too. I have children. I'm concerned with them. I'm concerned with, what this could escalate to. Nobody wants it. Nobody wants it. But like Mr. Jones has never reached out to me. No one has ever reached out to me. And I urge you to do so. I make time. I'm self-employed. I'm a busy guy, but I'll make time.
Let me take it.
All right, so you just got a chance to listen to, what Deputy Mayor Jeff Sparkey had to say. He was the first of the city council board members to speak. The rest of them that did speak, those videos will come in, those remarks will come in the next video. I didn't want to make this video too long, but Jeff Sparkey honestly was the one who spoke the longest. And I feel like he responded to a lot. He addressed a whole lot. And I wanted to take the time to really break down all of the things that he was breaking down and talking about. So the first thing that he mentioned was him smirking, because he did get a lot of backlash. A lot of people called him out, because this is what happened. If you do not know, one of the Black Lives Matter leaders is a woman, a black woman in Pasco County, and she was assaulted during a protest, and the police did not check on her. They did not check her statement. They just ignored it totally. It's like it never happened. It never even went on record. Aside from that, a week later, Black Lives Matter protester and another black leader of the community was arrested. And so, community leaders, began to speak out and say, you know, what is going on? We vouch for these people that, you know, have, for whatever reason, because they're saying Black Lives Matter, they're being attacked and they're being targeted. And so during that Vox Pox meeting where you get up and speak, several community leaders got up to speak. I think this was in late July or early August. We actually did a video on it, so you can go back to pascoconnect.blogspot.com and you can hear everything that everybody got up to say. And so while the Black leader that got assaulted was up sharing her experience, he was smirking and people witnessed it in the audience. And so when someone else got up to speak, they called him out on it. And you can go back and check out that video, because yes, someone called him out on it and said, and we see you smirking as she's saying and talking about how she was assaulted in the streets of Port Richey, and you are laughing about it. So that was one of the first things he wanted to address, because a lot of people in the community that put you in that seat to be an ear to listen to the community, you're smirking. The community put you there. And before I get fired up, let me go through everything. Okay, so he addressed that. And so he said, go back to the previous video. Go back to the previous video because I addressed that, and I think he got a little upset that he couldn't say something right then and that everybody left, because like I said, the meetings used to be where, okay, Vox Pox has their time and then they go on with their agenda and then they address. Well, by then people are upset, and especially at that meeting, a lot of people left upset and left like, you didn't care, Deputy Mayor Jeff Sparkey. Let me talk to you for a second, because that's how people left. That's how I left when I recognized what was going on. I said, I know he did not do that. And so a lot of people walked out because they were upset. Not even because they weren't going to take the time to sit and listen. Not to mention that there was such a heavy police presence at that meeting. Like, it's ridiculous. They were all outside in the hallway, lining the walls, you know, on the inside, standing up against the walls, hands on their weapons. It's just like, where are we? What time is this? Have I traveled back to 1950 and 60s to what I've seen in the past? You know, when there's this just hostile environment in the South. Where am I? Am I not in 2020? You know, you hear Black people coming to the city council meeting, get your pitchforks, get your, you know, whatever. And I don't mean to be dramatic, but that is what it appeared to be, because I had attended another city council meeting before that where there was not such a heavy presence of police. And now here comes this meeting where you were probably notified ahead of time that Black Lives Matter people were coming, Black people were coming. And so therefore here you are, you're ready to be, you know, you ready to arm up and have the police there. Why? When we're coming to speak. We're coming to speak just like everybody else. Why do we need a police presence? So that was, you know, why a lot of people left out. And so he said, go back to the previous video, watch it. Well, Deputy Mayor Jeff Sparkey, the video isn't there. I went back and the video isn't there. So, you know, for you saying that, you should have just reiterated your comments. I would have loved to hear them, because I was prepared to listen to them, put them in this video, and then talk about them and say, well, this is what he had to say in that last meeting for everybody that walked out. Here you go. This is what he had to say. And so I just wanted to say that video wasn't there. So here he is. He done turned into a lawyer all of a sudden. He has evidence, y'all. He had receipts, y'all. Deputy Mayor Jeff Sparkey had receipts for y'all, okay? He had receipts for all y'all Black Lives Matter protesters. He didn't have receipts for anybody else. He did say that they did some things, but he didn't go and get any receipts. He didn't have a whole investigation plan, this undercover co-op secret agent. You got a recorder and you're going on the other side doing some top secret recording. Seriously? Are you really out there not trying to get the issues? Not that you out trying to get the issues of what the people have to say. You out there with a recording trying to get some undercover agent type thing. And now you ready to blast it at the city council meeting. I don't care what your recording have. We could have went on the other side and got recordings galore of them saying a whole bunch of stuff. Go to any Black Lives Matter Pasco Newport Richey page, and there are plenty of videos and recordings of all of the things the other side is doing. You didn't come in with that. You didn't bring that in, Deputy Mayor. You had a whole investigation and you got pictures of what the Black Lives Matter protester sign said. Did you get a picture of how they have the young black leaders' pictures posted up, their information posted up on boards, and they coming out for all of these different hate groups to see and to know where they live? You didn't get that, did you? You didn't snap a picture of that. You had a picture, but see, and this is where I'm going to call you out again, because you were able to say and recognize on the other side, which is the white side, I'll just say that, the Trump side, or I don't even know what to say, the hate group side, because that's just what it feels like. You just came out there to hate. And so you have signs of people with their pictures and their information on there. And so you're able to recognize that within those group of people, that they have different agendas, that they have, different organizations within that group. But on this side, you want to put a picture of a woman talking about something with sex, dealing with women's sexuality, knowing that's nothing. It has nothing to do with Black Lives Matter. Why are you even bringing that up but to have some way to smear them? It's not even, you recognize that when there's protests going on, other protesters just attach their agenda to that. We know that. We're all thinking adults. We're able to recognize that. Everybody should be able to recognize that when there are protests going on, there are other people with their agendas of what they want to protest about, what they're angry about, and they're ready to get with angry, like-minded, angry people. And they just ready to be angry. Yes, that happens. That happens on both sides. It's happening on both sides. Some people generally don't like the protests messing up the community, so they over there on the other side. They don't too much care for Trump. They don't too much care for other stuff, but they don't like these Black Lives Matter protests going on in their community where they're working and trying to make an income in their family. It's disruptive to their everyday lives. So that's why they're there. But there's a lot of people that have come in from out of town on both sides. And that when all is said and done, they're going back home. We're going to be stuck here with the pieces to pick up. And that's what I wish that Deputy Mayor Jeff Sparkey would have put his mind on. Because if you would have went out there to find out what the community is out there about, like you're supposed to do, then we wouldn't be, you wouldn't have had time to get some recording of who knows who's saying what. We don't know these people. We don't know who's talking. We don't know who they're with, who they represent. So as far as Exhibit A, the picture, no, that don't work. As far as Exhibit B, which something didn't even play. You had some type of baseball bat picture that you couldn't even make available. So we throwing all of those allegations out until you come with your receptacles, your receipts. So throwing that out. And then, you know, you had the video. Who knows who that is, what that person's agenda was. Who knows? You didn't have a face. We didn't know. They didn't say their name. We don't know what that's about. So anyways, we're not even going to acknowledge any of that. So my thing is, this is one thing that every city council board member said that night. And if you can actually go to the site, the new Port Richey site webpage, and you can find the city council meetings, and you can watch the whole thing in its entirety because it's all there. And all of the council members responded. And it's Debbie Mann's, the city manager. She did not respond. And so one thing that they all kept repeating was, no one's called me. No one's called me. Excuse you? Excuse you? Why aren't you being proactive? And you see that this is a situation that deserves attention. This is the problem I have with city officials and government officials alike. Why aren't you all being proactive? You know, I hate to even compare it because it's not, you know, something I really want to compare. But, you know, Trump delayed things with the coronavirus. He could have been proactive. He could have taken steps. He could have, you know, just done more. And I feel that way with this board member. Why are y'all waiting on calls? This is your job. This is what we hired and elected you for. We elected and hired you for this. For you to be figuring out what I look like going to work. Going to work where ain't nobody call me and tell me I had to do my job. And I just come in and sit down and be pretty and look cute. And then when they say, well, Candace, what happened? Why haven't you completed the assignments and the things that you're supposed to complete? Well, ain't nobody called me. Nobody ain't called me and tell me that I had to do my job. So, you know, I'm just sitting here pretty as pie. I'm coming to these meetings, sitting back in my little chair that spin. And I'm just going to, you know, talk to the people real quick, like, before I go home tonight. You know, no, your job is to find out. And the thing about it is, at this point, with the things that are happening, we are in emergency situations. When people are protesting and it's disrupting the community, you all should sit everything else to the side. We're in a pandemic. Y'all shouldn't be voting on none of the regular stuff. You shouldn't even be talking about nothing artsy. I don't care about no mural and decorative stuff. I don't care about that right now. Not when there's civil unrest. And that shows how disconnected you are, Deputy Mayor Jeff Sparkey, from your people. The people that are hurting right now in the community. You should be, when there is like an endangered species, you know, this is just the one thing that's coming to my mind right now. When there's an endangered species, we pay attention to them. We make special provisions for them. We say, hey, look, right now, nobody make a move in this community. It's all under investigation, this entire population. We're keeping an eye out on it, you know, to protect it. Because right now, it's in danger of, you know, being extinct or something. And I don't want to say extinct, but I'm just trying to say when there's something going on for you to pay attention to, you should stop everything and pay attention. You should be the one coming out. Okay, I mean, get creative. Get your own signs, and the board members just come out and say, we don't want to choose sides. We just want peace in our streets. Why haven't y'all done something? Come on. Do something to show that you're trying besides living your life and nothing's affecting you, so you don't care. Because that's what you're saying, and you tell on yourself when you can't even say systemic racism. That lets me know it don't roll off your lips often. Even though it's happening right here in Pasco County. And people are getting up telling you, and all you're saying is my heart goes out. I don't care nothing about your heart going out. People want change. And there are things that can be done if you sit down and listen and understand how what impacts us impacts you, boo. It impacts you. It touches you. It's touching you right now. That's why you got to address it. But had you come out and say, hey, look, guys, what's going on? I'm here. I want to listen. I know you're angry. I'm here. I'm out here. I want to know. Put you on a Black Lives Matter. Hey, you may not agree with the organization. A lot of black people don't. A lot of black people don't agree with the organization. But we agree with Black Lives Mattering. Yes, we agree with that. I agree that my Black lives matter. I agree that the lives of my Black children matter. Yes, I agree with that. And I don't agree that it matters more than anybody else. Our lives don't matter more than anybody else. But right now, the population, the Black people are not being treated equally. And we're communicating it to you. And I understand that you may have not ever heard this before in your life. Let me explain that to you. Let me break it down for you. Okay? A lot of people have had the spirit and feeling of oppression. You're oppressed. You don't speak out. And I'll say this. Upon me first moving here, I met a young lady, that went into great detail about the issues her children were facing as a Black family. The racism where her kids were just being called the N-word every day. You know what that does to a child? No, you don't. You don't. But you need to sit down and find out how it destroys them. And that's nothing for just your heart to go out about. That's something for you to get up and make some clear steps to show that it matters. As people in this community, it matters. I love that your heart going out, but I need your feet and your hands to put some work, to put some muscle behind it. Let me move on, because I did write some notes and I want to get to everything. He addressed the police. The police don't want to hear that. The city didn't ask for this. They didn't ask for this. They're just trying to do their jobs. You know what? I don't know who they done hurt or mess with, but Tampa Bay Times has their neck on Pasco County law enforcement agencies. Pasco Sheriff's Office. And there have been some reports that contradict your statements of the police don't want this. I don't believe that the police is racist. There are reports that contradict your statements that says there is an entire virtual, system created to target and criminalize specific populations in Pasco County. So we need to discuss that, because you're living a life where the police is on your side. So you do feel safe. You don't feel targeted. But you're not the only one living in this county. There are a lot of people that live in this county that are experiencing something absolutely, totally different. Those are the people that you should be listening to right now. You spent a lot of time talking about you, speaking from your walk in life, your shoes. When Vox Pox is an opportunity for you to hear what the experiences are like for other people in their shoes, living in the same city, Systemic racism is not anything to sneeze about. It's not anything for you to just, oh, my heart goes out. Excuse you. There are things that can be done to change that. When you give other people a seat at the table and an opportunity to speak up for their community and population for people, then you see changes within systemic racism. But when you don't care because you good and you got your feet up and you comfortable and your family protected, I heard you mention, oh, I got this in my family, I got that, cool. They good because they got you. Other people don't have you. They're living an entirely different life, and you didn't even take the time to, oh, I feel for you and your mom. You know, you got your kids, y'all going through. Oh, I feel for you. My heart goes out. You know, it's wrong. Excuse you? Excuse you. No, we're not moving on. We ain't moved on at all. You might have thought that you moved on, but we ain't moved on, boo. We got more to talk about. So, you know, one thing I can say, you know, I heard him address Marlowe Jones and, you know, the smear campaign that's going on against him, the young black leader in the community that is pushing for African American young men and women to be more proactive in their community, vote, to learn to be good citizens, learning how to understand how to navigate through this life in a positive way. You all see how he behaved. You know, he's around here shaking the police hand and going to meet and talk and, you know, trying to bring peace to both sides and trying to educate and empower people. You know, and it's this whole smear campaign going on against him. One thing I can say is Deputy Mayor Jeff Sparkey spoke up for him and said, hey, you know, I know him. He's a nice man, you know, and I looked into these allegations that so everybody has, and there's no leg for them to stand on. It's basically what he said. So I applaud Jeff Sparkey for doing that. And, you know, even though I'm coming down hard on you, Jeff, it's not because I feel some type of way. And I actually decided today, because I'm not just a person that sit here and talk, boo. Don't get it twisted. You know, he gave out his number. It is posted on, you know, the new Port Richey website. And it's 727-389-5784. Or you can email him, starkeyj@cityofnewportrichey.org. But as he's already said, he doesn't pay too much attention to the emails because they get, you know, chopped and screwed, and his words get put into, you know, different, you know, whatever. So he basically was saying, call him up. So that's his number. And I plan on calling him and inviting him on the show to talk. And I'm going to, you know, sit down and gather my thoughts, and I'm going to write some things up, and I'm going to just reach out and say, hey, would you mind coming on the show during our one of our community talks? It's not aggressive. It's you know, it's a place where we all get an opportunity to speak and be heard, and we get to discuss. And I would love for him to come on, and I would love to break down some things and have an opportunity for him to really see, because what happens is, you know, black people not all that comfortable in white environments, and that's just the truth. You're not going to get the real because we feel the need to behave a certain way around you all. And so over here, I'm at my house, boo. I can say what I want to say, how I want to say it. When I come down to the city council, I have to, you know, talk a little bit differently or whatever. And so I may do that at that time. But on my platform, I can talk how I want to talk. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say it how it is and how I see it and exactly what it is. And I'm not going to put any effort into cleaning it up for your ears. I won't do that here. You know, I'll do that other places, but I'm not going to do that here. So, you know, let me make sure I got all my points out. Yeah, I think I did. I think I got everything I wanted to say. So I'm basically am going to reach out to him. I'll keep you guys posted. Part 3 is coming up next, and that'll be the rest of the speakers. And I have a few things that I want to point out that a few of those gentlemen said. Hopefully that video won't be as long as this one. I did not mean to make it this long, y'all. Please forgive me. So anyway, all right, until next time, y'all, let me know what you think. What is your response? I put Jeff Starkey's name in here, Deputy Mayor Jeff Starkey, Port Richey. Call him up if you have something to say as far as his comments, you know, and you're able to communicate them in a way that you feel results will come. You know, I'm not saying go call him yelling and screaming. I don't mean that at all, because I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to call him and I'm going to talk like an adult. Like, come on. I don't have to belittle anybody or be mean or, you know, I don't even have that type of energy, to be honest. So, you know, I'm going to definitely just call him up. I'll keep you guys posted and let you know what happens. Until next time, peace.